It's really about breaking things down and creating a system that works for you. So my global mission for my business is to eliminate the shame around clutter.
My name is Jenny, and I'm a wife and mom raising 2 kids. But I used to live a more glamorous life as a TV reporter. I was on the nightly news interviewing pop stars and politicians. So when I said goodbye to TV and hello to motherhood, I suddenly discovered what we moms are up against. We live in a world that tells us to be rich and famous, thin and successful. You know, almost nobody says, "Oh, hey, you're a mom? That is fabulous." But you are fabulous, and I'm here to tell you why.
It's the ChannelMom Show, celebrating you with Jenny Dean Schmidt.
Brought to you by the Healthy Marriage Project. Just click on one of their ads to find out about a healthy relationship workshop near you. Oh my, can we all just growl together? Clutter makes me growl. Like I'm like, ugh, like when I go in.
I can't relax.
Yeah, clutter makes me growl. That is how I feel about the clutter in my life.
If I hide the clutter, then I'm fine.
Yeah, I do. I throw into closets.
The drawers.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder what she's going to say about that. My kids' clutter, my neighborhood clutter, that just makes me crazy. So it makes me growl and raises my blood pressure, but let's be honest, it probably does the same thing to you. You make me feel overwhelmed, especially in this economy. I think when you have too much stuff that you can't fix even because it's a tough economy, I think it makes it even worse. I don't know. You can tell me. But today I am excited to introduce Kelly Wilson. Kelly is an efficiency expert who helps people get more done in less time with immediate results and lasting change. Okay, I love that. I am already breathing better. Just hearing that. Yeah. She's the author of The Clutter Breakthrough, your 5-step solution to freedom from clutter forever, which is endorsed by Peter Walsh, Oprah's organizer. I didn't know Oprah had an organizer, but welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thanks. Welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, good. We're glad to have you. How overwhelmed are we, Kelly, as a society with all of our stuff and our schedules and our clutter?
It's amazing the pace that we are living at today with all of our kids' activities that are going on. Our kids' social lives are almost as exciting and as big as we as parents.
Yes.
And so it just is a constant run from here to there to the next place until we fall into bed at night.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And you have kids. You're a mommy. That's one reason we love having you on the show.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think about that sometimes. I watch all of my mom's friends racing around. I'm racing around. I mean, I think, did they do this 100 years ago? I'm out of my mind with all the stuff that I have to deal with, all the scheduling I have to deal with, constantly being in the car, throwing food at the kids in the back seat. I mean, I think, is that part of our clutter, those schedules?
I think a big part of it is that, yes, and it's about being able to say no, and that's a huge challenge for us these days, is to be able to say no.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us about your book, and we're gonna give people a treat today. You're gonna give us 3 tips for how to get rid of the clutter in our lives and get organized. And I want moms to take notes because they really need this. You're giving them free advice. People pay you for this. So
definitely.
So tell us about your book, The Clutter Breakthrough, and we'll just lay into those tips. We'll just start laying them out one by one.
Okay, well, the book really came from my experience of working with clients over the years and seeing that I would go out there and help them and then come back a week later and everything would be back to this way it was or worse. And what I began to realize is that there really is a much deeper level around clutter. It's not just about the stuff. It really is the stuff behind the stuff.
Oh.
And so that's where the emotional comes from. And it's about putting simple systems into place for people that they can actually implement and use within their busy schedule, but also starting to tackle some of the mental clutter and the spiritual clutter that keeps them reverting back to the way things were.
Yeah, Kelly, that's good. What about, tell me about that. What is the stuff behind? I mean, I think some people are afraid of psychobabble kind of stuff, but it sounds to me like you have a great point to make right now, and that there is stuff behind our stuff. What does that mean?
Well, that could be anything from, I have one woman that I worked with who's a CPA. She has a degree. She's worked really hard to do that, but she sometimes gets lost in a solitaire game on the computer, and then she beats herself up for being quote-unquote lazy. And the truth is she's not lazy, but at one point during her childhood, her mom would say to her, if she wasn't cleaning her room or doing something else or busy constantly, that you were lazy.
Oh.
So for her, that was her mental clutter. That was what she was believing about herself. And the truth is, she's not lazy at all. So we worked on that and gave her ways to change that voice in her head that said she's lazy to something different, something true.
Yeah. And okay, so you're getting rid of emotional clutter. Is there ever emotion behind the clutter that we keep? Like, I wonder when I look at my own house, like, why do I let this area be completely out of control, but I'm anal retentive about this area? I mean, is there something emotional about that?
There could be, yeah. And then not everything has to be a childhood trauma and huge emotional, deep psychobabble, like you said, really. Yeah. Some of it just is the fact that some areas are more difficult to maintain. If it is your family living area and there are multiple people using that space, it's more of a challenge to keep up as opposed to a smaller space or one that is really your safe haven, right? We come home from a crazy day. Our home should be our place to rejuvenate, to rest, to restore ourselves, and we need to have at least one spot in our house that we can go to and really breathe deep and rest and relax.
Yeah, and I have one of those, but I'm gonna lay out something for you, and then I want you just to go for it and launch into how, yeah, you can see my brain's cluttered right now. I'm gonna tell you how I feel that most moms are feeling these days based on my own life, and then I want you to kind of tell me point by point with these 3 tips you're going to give moms how to deal with it, and then I know Shelly's going to have a question too.
Okay.
My house. So I go in. I'm kind of a clean freak, and when people come to my house, Shelly, don't they? They say I'm pretty neat.
You're pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm pretty neat. But there are areas that are completely not, like my kids' rooms, certain closets, certain drawers. And here's the thing: piles. We have piles, like I have a pile on my desk. I have a pile in my bedroom. I have a pile next to my bed in my bedroom, like things I'm going to get to, articles I'm going to read, so on and so forth. And then there's also the buildup of schedules. Like we have 6 different places where we're writing down what everybody's schedules are. The car's a mess because we're always in the car. So those are some things that I have a feeling most moms out there are going to identify with. How do you tackle that?
All right, those fall right into the tips I'm going to give.
Okay.
So the first tip is easy pickings, right? We want to do those things that we can do without emotion, without really thinking about it. So if you can go into a space and pull out the things that are easy pickings, whether it's trash, donate, or recycle, do that. Pull them out one bag at a time, one bag for trash. Pull out everything that's trash. Go to the next time around, pull out the things that you can donate. Don't think about it. Don't ponder the beautiful memories around it. Just pull them out and send them off.
What
do
about
the easy pickings?
What about when it's not yours?
What about
I don't in my house, I can throw stuff away.
You can get your kids, for a period of time, my son, who was probably about 5, 6, 7 at the time, would come and bring me a toy and say, "Mom, I think there are other kids that can use this toy that don't have toys." So that was one thing that I used with them when they were really small. They're 9 and 12 now, and they still will do that. To say there are lots of children, you have lots of toys. Can we give some toys or 1 or 2 toys to kids who don't have toys?
Yeah.
And they become willing to do that. They totally get that. Kids are in the moment.
Yeah, I have a thing when I say give away or throw away. And so I'll walk in the room and say, give away or throw away, give away or throw away. We also do a thrift thing too. I guess that's one of the things, the recycle. So let's say this, Kelly. So moms, I'm going to reiterate for moms. So you go in a room, let's say just the room that bugs you the most, and you say, we're going to take a trash bag for trash. We're going to take a bag for donation. We're going to take a bag for recycling. Like we're going to take it to the thrift store. That's kind of how you approach a place one by one, not the whole house, just one place. Is that right?
Right. One place. And if you want to, set a timer, 15, 20-minute timer, so that you don't feel like you're going to be in there forever.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that's daunting for people. If we think we have to do it all, we just get overwhelmed and we get stuck. So just 15 minutes and do it together. Have fun. I had a friend who used to give her kids flashlights and turn the lights down, and they would hunt for toys or they would hunt for donations that could go out. So make it fun and involve the family, because then everyone's invested in keeping it up.
I love it. Okay, so tip number 2.
All right, tip number 2, ask a question for your clutter. Do I need you? So when you're looking through items, think about that question and ask that question. And you may feel like you're a little kooky, but really, do I need you? And are you serving me? Are you adding to my life? I have some clients who have stuff that they look at and it makes them unhappy, or it brings up old memories. So those are things that we don't need to have in our rejuvenating space.
Right.
Let those things go. Do I need you?
Yeah, I like it. I think I will enjoy that, actually, walking through the house saying, do I need you? I don't need you. I don't need you. I like it. And number 3.
If your clutter starts talking back, be cautious.
I'll call you. What's number 3, Kelly?
All right, number 3 is the question, how long has it been since I've used you? And so this can be... And you really have to have people let go of the idea of I spent money on that and I invested money in it, because we get caught up in that. So how long has it been since I've used you? And this is a great one, because if you have things that have been sitting around for a while, and really you're not using, then send it out into the world. Let somebody else enjoy it. And as you said at the top of the segment, in this economy especially, there are so many people out there in need. So if I have something that's sitting around that I'm not using and that's not bringing me value, on a regular basis, send it out into the world.
How can you define that regular basis? Is it 6 months? Is it?
It depends on the item. So if it's something if it's a toiletry or an item that we're using that should be used every day, if it's old makeup that you're not using and you don't see it, something for a Halloween costume, then let it go. If it's clothing, then, look at that seasonally. And especially for kids, if we're outgrowing those things quickly, if the children are, then we can pass those along. So you kind of have to define that by the different item and the frequency that it typically is used.
Yeah. And it's a good lesson for your kids. I mean, I like to cause my kids sometimes a little bit of pain too when they have to give away. Like, it's okay if it hurts a little, because I want you to be able to give and sacrifice a little bit and understand how valuable that is for somebody else. And so I don't like them just to give like their worst teddy bear away. Sometimes if it's actually something quite lovely, I'm okay and say, you know what? If you're not using it, some little girl out there might be blessed to have this,
Oh, yeah.
And
absolutely.
It's a good lesson for your kids. I want to get into something, and Shelly, you may want to, Shelly's been asking you some questions too. I love your 3 points. The thing about trash, donate, recycle, that's one thing. Do I need you? That's number 2. How long has it been since I've used you? And I can do that in my closet on a regular basis. There are 10 shirts I haven't worn in the last 2 years. So yeah, we just need to part with those things. Right. What happens to us emotionally? Because I don't know, this probably doesn't happen to you, Kelly, because you are hyper organized. This girl, just so people know, people never answer my emails. I wrote her and she answered me in like 30 seconds. Like, you are organized. Anyway, I'm starting to get tense because I'm starting to think about my own clutter. What happens to us emotionally when we're overwhelmed by all the stuff we need to take care of and all the piles we need to sort through and all the bills we need to pay and all the schedules we need to maintain? That's all clutter. What happens to us, and how are we set free by somebody like you who helps us get through this?
Well, it's really about breaking things down and creating a system that works for you. So my global mission for my business is to eliminate the shame around clutter. There are so many people out there. I go to clients' homes, they open the door a crack, a 2 or 3 inch crack, and they look at me and they say, "Are you ready? I'm not ready to let you in." And there's so much shame, and that's just not fair. And it's the same as the media does to women around our body image.
Yes.
So you look at the cover of Cosmo magazine, and what we don't know is that girl's airbrushed like crazy. And it's the same for our clutter with Real Simple magazine cover. That's not reality. People don't live in that space. It's a snapshot. It's a moment of time.
Yeah.
The first thing is to let ourselves off the hook. Cut yourself some slack.
Cut yourself some slack. Amen. Cut yourself some slack. I love it. Quickly, Kelly, tell people where they can get a hold of your book.
SimplePlanConsulting.com.
SimplePlanConsulting.com. Kelly Wilson, you're fabulous. We'd like to have you back, okay?
I'd love to.
Okay, thanks, Kelly. Have a blessed day.